County Sheriff Austin Garrett and his folks, specifically his dive team that he will talk about, and we'll get to why a dive team is necessary here in a few minutes. Monroe County Chief Deputy Chris White is here also with the dive team. TWRA has been helping us in a similar aspect with boats out on the lake, on the river. Bradley County, McMinn County, Ray County, Polk County, Decatur, Sweetwater, Spring City, Nyota, Calhoun, Dayton, and Athens Police Department, as well as the 10th Drug Task Force. And I hope I didn't leave anybody out, but you've seen the magnitude of what we've got going on here, and then a separate location. So what happened with Deputy R.J. Leonard, what we think has happened so far, he was at home. He lives here in the south end of Roane County with his wife and 3 kids, and his wife's family, and his parents are close by as well. He took a call that there was a passerby on the Highway 60 bridge here near the Birchwood community that saw, I think we've heard 2 different stories, maybe 2 different calls, either a man jumping in and out of traffic or a man and a woman on the bridge that seemed to be fighting. So he responded to the call. What we know is that he arrived on the scene at 9:48 p.m. on Wednesday evening, and he indicated that he was on scene. 3 minutes later at 9:51, he indicated 10:15 that he was en route with a subject back to the Meigs County Jail. It's my understanding from this area there's various ways you can get back to the Meigs County Jail. We'll note that, as you might have discovered, cell phone service in this neck of the woods, so to speak, is not good, and as radio communications are not, as we found out here tonight in our effort to try to locate him. So within 3 minutes, he was turned around and coming back. The next communication happened about approximately 12 minutes later at 10:03, and there was a radio communication that came out, and dispatch couldn't tell what he was saying or what he had said, and it took a while and some analytics to go into play for us to see what was being, or try to understand what was being said, and we think he was saying water. At the very same time, he was also texting his wife. It's my understanding he sent a one-word text that said arrest. Evidently, I'm learning this is his first arrest. His wife texted back and said, that's good, or that's great. We know that he did not receive, his phone did not evidently receive that text. So those 2 things happened at the same time. So dispatch at that point started doing a status check, and every deputy or officer that was out checked in, said 10-4, they're okay, but not Deputy Leonard. So for the next several hours, you saw, as surrounding agencies learned what was going on, a number of people responding to this area, and they staged, as we are here today, at the Oasis Center in the Birchwood community, which is right near the Meigs and Hamilton County line. And all these agencies are here, and nobody knows what to do but just go out and start looking. So the neighborhood's probably seen a large law enforcement presence with cruisers and SUVs going back and forth, shining lights, going up and down different roads, just trying to find out where Deputy Leonard could be. And so, that's kind of where we were until a point a little while ago. It seems that TWRA, in searching the river, because the stop was up on the bridge, just trying to determine what scenario, all avenues of what could possibly have happened, they think at the end of Blythe Ferry Road that they have identified a vehicle in the water. With the analytics that I was talking about, I know the guys from the Marshal, Homeland Security, my DTF, they've triangulated the last position of his phone and the Life 360 that his wife has attached to his phone. And it appears that they're almost in the same location. If you're familiar with this area, the bridge and where the old ferry, Blythe Ferry Road, you would have crossed the Tennessee River, are very close to one another. So that brings us to the dive teams and to Sheriff Garrett, and he can bring you up to date on what they think they know, what they're doing. Like I say, we don't want to get in front of ourselves too much here, because there's a family of the deputy involved and potentially another family with the subject who is unnamed and at this point that might be involved in this as well. But I'll turn it over to Sheriff Garrett at this point.
Thank you, General. Good morning. First of all, I'd like to say our thoughts and prayers are with the deputy's family and the arrestee's family. At this time, it is still a search. As the General spoke a minute ago, we currently do have a dive team that is working on identifying a vehicle that was located earlier this morning in the river. We began last night assisting Meigs County and the other agencies with ground search, utilizing drones, anything that we had within our sheriff's office that we could provide to assist in locating this deputy and this arrestee. That progressed throughout the night, and those leads led to the river where that vehicle was located after a scan was conducted of the water. Deputies are utilizing a remote operated vehicle, a robot, in the water now to determine if it is our vehicle that we're looking for. And as those updates become available, the General will provide that information. So we're just trying to do everything we can to assist our partner agency, and that's well over 100, maybe 200 people on the ground here doing the exact same thing. So we're just doing everything we can do and exhaust every lead that we can in hopes of locating this deputy and arrestee and resolving this incident. Thank you.
So just to segue into the Tennessee Highway Patrol next, when we're talking about the landing that used to be the ferry landing, I guess it's probably used locally maybe to put boats in the water and things of that nature. So you've got a concrete area, as you would imagine, going into the water, the pavement leading up to it. There are obviously visible skid marks and other marks that would indicate maybe something consistent with what's going in the water. I know that Sheriff explained that there was a lady that went in the river at the same place, and this happens on a somewhat frequent, if not a frequent basis, but an individual that went in the water in this very same location about a month ago who survived and was recovered. So, you know, it's telling the difference between the marks with that or any other boat going in and out of the water. So for that purpose and the fact if it does turn out how it appears that it may, I've asked the Tennessee Highway Patrol to be ready to take over the investigation as an accident, but to also utilize their critical incident response team like we would in any sort of regular highway vehicular homicide or fatality type wreck. And so I think Public Information Officer Harvey is going to come forward and talk about that role and what will happen with their investigation once we know more about what the dive team has discovered. So Sergeant Harvey, if we come forward.
Again, we would like to express our condolences also to the family members of the involved here. So our department, our critical incident response team is responding to this location here to assist whether the Meigs County Sheriff's Department or TBI, depending on the outcome of this investigation. So that's all we have at this point in time. Once they arrive and everything else is determined, we'll probably have more at a later date.
And I'd like to reiterate, just don't want to get ahead of things, but we wanted to go ahead and get the information out to you and people. You know, like I said, we were hoping for tips. You know, you'd like to hope this is not the case, but if it is, like it seems to be, I mean, there's no other explanation for where the deputy would be at this point other than this. And certainly, like they say, condolences to the family, but you hope against hope. But, you know, that's what things are at this point in the stage of the game. So I would like to call on the sheriff, and if he wants Chief Deputy Malone to talk about the situation, what they've done, the impact on the law enforcement family here, and specifically about R.J. Leonard.
Thank you, General. Well, first of all, I'll say good morning to y'all, and wished things was a little different, but I don't know if I can make it or not, but Deputy Leonard had been on the force about 2 months. He graduated just out of the academy and had got his training. We put him on a night shift, and he was doing a pretty good job. He was doing a real good job, and it's just I don't know, it's just hard when, the department is just like a family, and we just, I hope things is different, I pray it is. And just like the sheriff said, that we're still in search, and I hope, things turns out better or different. But, I'm praying for the family. We ask for prayers for them and pray for our department.
Just reiterate the same thing, thoughts and prayers for the family. Also, thank you to every department that's here, helping coordinate this. You know, for Meigs County, this is a big event. You know, it's something that we don't want to deal with, but we are. So thank you to y'all for helping. A little bit more about Deputy Leonard. He's, like the Sheriff said, he graduated the academy in December. He's been out on the road for us for just a couple of months now. He's originally from New York, but he's moved down here. He's got family down here with kids, go to school here, and wife and in-laws. So we just ask at this time, you just please remember those families in your prayers.
I'd be remiss if I didn't call Judge Casey Stokes to the stand. He's our General Sessions Court judge. He works closely on a daily basis with these officers and deputies like Deputy Leonard. Do you want to come forward and say a few words, Judge?
As the sheriff mentioned, Deputy Leonard was new to the area, and growing up in Birchwood, I'm very familiar with the old ferry landing. It's not been in use since '94, but people use it for boats, to put in their boats and things like that. And it can be dangerous, especially at night, especially for folks who are not from here originally, that aren't very familiar with it. And as the sheriff mentioned earlier, there was a car ran off in there a couple months ago. Luckily, the lady survived, but even 30, 40 years ago, people at night have run off in the ferry landing. It can be a very dangerous spot for folks that aren't local. And let's just pray for Deputy Leonard and any subject that may have been in the car. Let's keep them in our prayers and hope that something, maybe let's hope against hope that things may improve here. But thank you.
Sure, and just Sheriff Garrett and I were talking, you know, he's had in his county cars, people, you know, steal cars, put cars in the lakes, in the rivers, and that's happened here at this very site before. So like I say, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, and you know, it might be something like that, but like I say, if it's not, then we've got a different story and a different task to do to find out what's happened to Deputy Leonard. But yes, prayers and thoughts and prayers for everyone at this point, and appreciation to every single law enforcement officer, deputy, agent that's been here. I mean, everybody, if you were up in Knox County yesterday, you saw the outpouring of support for the Blue and for Blount County Deputy McGowan that was shot and killed up there. It was an amazing thing to see, and I'm seeing it again play out here tonight with law enforcement coming down here to help find one of their own and support one of their own and their brethren in the Meigs County Sheriff's Department. That's all I have, unless anyone else has something more to add that they want to say. If you have questions, just direct them to the appropriate individual, if you will.
I have a question. We talked about how that specific ferry landing has been dangerous. Was it ever a conversation in the past to put up some kind of safety measures there, or if there hasn't been a conversation, is that something maybe in the future?
Sure. I'm not from Meigs County. I'm from Loudoun County, but I remember when I was in practice of law, I'd go over to Dayton and come down to Decatur some. I'd go to drive to back and forth. I'd always take one of the ferries. I'd usually Washington Ferry, I guess, up there. So I'm familiar with that. But my knowledge beyond that, other than going out there today, as I described to you, if you're going out to church here at night and dark and you don't hit that right turn that's hard to see and make, you go around a left curve, it would be unexpected for someone who's never been down that road before. But like say the judge or either the sheriff or Chief Malone could probably address that. I don't know if local officials have tried to address it. You know, sometimes you see the barriers at the end, you know, kind of a hard stop, but since it's used for other purposes as a boat landing or a boat put in and take out, I guess, you know, that's probably why it hasn't been addressed. But Sheriff or one of you want to take a stab at it?
It's probably been open because it's such a good place to put the boats in, but I think we need some sort of device, maybe before you get down to the boat landing, to the water, that will make people stop and then maybe go around it to put their boat in.
Yeah, more rumble strips perhaps. It has one small set and then just the one sign. That's about all there is.
Because this has happened, I remember when I was a kid living here in Birchwood, people running in the ferry at night, because the ferry boat closed at night back then, closed at dark. But at night, there would be people run in, and I remember several fatalities 30, 40 years ago at that same spot.
Any other questions?
We know we saw search teams out there very early this morning. Were there concerns about deploying dive teams in the dark conditions?
Sure.
Yeah, typically we don't do that unless we're in the middle of a rescue. So right now this is a search. So typically we do wait till daylight. We have the benefit of technology. So that technology being a towfish, which is a sonar device, has camera on it, and then also our robot, it's a remote operated vehicle. But even that, your visibility in the river is very diminished. So you do have a little bit of trouble with that. And in the event that we do attempt to recover, then we're working against the current. So there's safety issues at play. But like I said, this is still a search, you know, and then this is an example that we're not going to pass up any possible opportunity to locate and resolve this. And we're still hoping that and praying that this will be resolved and we will find this deputy and the arrestee that was in the car, not in the river, but we're not going to turn off any lead. We're going to follow it to the end.
Can we get the correct spelling of the deputy's name?
It is Robert, R-O-B-E-R-T, Leonard, L-E-O-N-A-R-D.
I think he goes by RJ.
Yeah, he commonly goes by RJ.
Like I said, he has a wife and 3 kids at home too that are anxiously awaiting.
Was a blue alert issued when you initially lost contact?
Is anyone still here from TBI that, I guess, the explanation that I heard on the blue alert, we asked about that there usually has to be a death involved and or danger to the public. And that's the standard for the blue alert. Of course, we've seen that here with Deputy McCowan's killer over the last few days with that on the highway signs, but this did not rise to the level of a blue alert. Any other questions? Great. Thanks for hanging with us so long. You know, you can give an estimate on how long you think it might be if you all want to hang around, and we'll have new information. If not, we'll contact you, give us your contact information. We'll let you know, or Sheriff's Department will issue something, I guess.
Yeah, and I'd say within an hour, we should have some idea where we're headed on our investigation.
Thank y'all. Sorry for the long wait.
Thank you.